So, the translations are out for My Hero Academia Manga Chapter 363, and let's just say that a lot of stuff happens in this chapter, and none of it is good for the heroes, and you'll get to see why that's going to be the case, but first, right after this. Hey guys! How's it going? It is your boy, Manga Man Drew, and I'm here to do my review of My Hero Academia Manga Chapter 363, titled Protectors and Invaders. And this is a very short, yet very informative chapter for My Hero Academia. There's a lot that we need to talk about in this chapter, going from the battle against Shigaraki to the battles outside of Shigaraki, pertaining to All For One and potentially Dabi. There's a fair amount that we need to talk about, and talking about the ramifications of what this could mean for the story moving forward. So let's just dive into this review and see how screwed the heroes are. But I would like to first call attention to the first page of this chapter, which is for the most part a flashback of Monoma seeing Bakugo during joint training and seeing his 4-0 victory, and how he is in disbelief that Bakugo is dead right in front of him. And I'm like, yo, yeah, I know, he's most likely dead, but you need to realize, Monoma, you are a shonen character in a shonen series. If you assume that a character is dead, be prepared to find a way for them to be revived. So yeah, this is a bad situation for the heroes. The fact that Bakugo is most likely, if not dead at this moment, and that the heroes have really no way of defeating Shigaraki in this moment is pretty much a lose-lose situation for them. And Shigaraki knows it, especially from what we've gotten in this chapter of him just taunting the heroes for everything that has happened to them, and how he's like, oh man, you sent these inexperienced kids into a battle? Wow, y'all were really in need of heroes. And he even says this while he's holding freaking Mirko with just all of his hand finger things. And as Mirko is regretting everything that she has done and the fact that she didn't kill him outright, you just have him saying, oh yeah, you had a lot of people, a lot of heroes at the time, so don't beat yourself up about it. All of you heroes actually failed. By the way, you were right about Deku. He probably should have come after us, but there was really no way you heroes had any chance of winning. So Shigaraki is just at his most Tomura in this chapter, and I think this chapter pretty much confirms that even though Shigaraki is a combination of All For One and Tomura, Tomura's personality is like peeking out a lot in this chapter. Pretty much everything that he says in this chapter is pretty much a Tomura-ism, and I enjoy that about this chapter. But overall, we're just getting a lot about how horrible of a situation the characters are in. And a panel that I would like to bring up is we do see Best Jeanist doing something. We don't know exactly what he's doing. He could be trying to, or making an attempt to try and revive or save Bakugo if he's not officially dead at this moment, or that he's preparing to attack Shigaraki in this moment. We are not definitively sure on that, and I will probably talk about that a little bit later in length in a different video. But overall, the heroes fighting against Shigaraki are in big trouble, but they may not be the ones in the worst situation, because we also get a reveal of what's going on with the weather changes, and that the changes in the weather is most likely directly associated with Dabi, as we see that Dabi is actually back up and running, and that he begins to say that he actually is able to do what he's able to do by copying Shoto, as we see that he has the same like burning X across his chest. It's most likely not an actual copy of Shoto's actual ability, because he does not have the ability to manipulate ice or use ice, but that it's most likely showing that he has a very similar fire power aesthetic that Shoto was unaware of. And even Shoto brings it up that when it comes to Toya, comes to Dabi, that he has both an obsession and is very versed with his quirk, and that he has a keen battle sense. And while this is all happening, you just have Burden telling Shoto to leave as we literally see potentially the burning corpses of Onima and Kido. So, yeah, I could potentially argue that Bakugo is alive from a meta sense in this being a shonen series. But I can't say the same about Onima and Kido. Yeah, they're probably dead, and you know what? I'm actually sad about that. I kind of liked them helping out Burden. This is sad. So yeah, Dabi do what Dabi do, and he is having his daddy issues in the middle of this battle as he's calling out to Skeptic to learn the area where All For One is fighting against Endeavor. And here's where we get to a horrible part of this chapter and how Shigaraki may have been right about everything that he said, and it's that Skeptic is literally in control of everything. It appears that he is the one that is interfering with the communications with the heroes with their home base, which could be the reason why Mandalay was unable to get in contact with Deku. So yeah, Skeptic is, as we know, a hacker, and he has apparently been hacking the system of UA, both when it comes to their communication as well as the underground fortress of UA where everyone has been evacuated to. So this is actually very terrifying because the implication is that potentially the civilians are going to be attacked by either other villains coming to their location or the spies that are actually already there. And we even have Skeptic pretty much monologuing about how he's going to support Tomura Shigura and that he's going to create a world where there isn't quirk discrimination by mass murdering a whole bunch of people that believe in the old order. And that this is going to be the way they live for freedom without heroes or villains. So yeah, this is not looking good for the heroes at all. And they are potentially putting the civilians in danger. And that's not even the worst part that the heroes are going to have to deal with in this battle. Because the chapter ends with the worst possible situation. All For One is attractive! Oh no! But in a more serious sense, yes, All For One's body is being rewinded or being revived back to a point where he could potentially fight and do even more damage against the hero, so yeah. Now, it's not fully confirmed that his entire body is about to come back, but as we get at the end of this chapter with his monologue about how the villains were not prepared and they really didn't do anything in the last war, and that now the villains are the invaders, that they are going to keep moving forward until their dreams come true. The implication is that his body is about to be fully revived back to his prime as we see that his face has finally been revealed and we see that parts of his body begin to heal from the chest downward. So yeah, a full-powered All For One may be fighting against Hawks and Dabi, both who are heavily injured, both who are probably crippled at this moment, and and probably both of them do not stand a chance against this version of All For One. So yeah, the heroes are pretty much fudged. This is a very amazing chapter for My Hero Academia. We see the heroes on the back foot. We see the villains taking charge and potentially enacting plans to put the heroes in even more crucial danger. Now, this does not guarantee to actually be the way that the villains are going to win. There are ways around how these heroes are facing these horrible situations. There may be a way for Bakugo to survive, even though it may be very, very unlikely. There is still a possibility with a certain character in story, as well as the fact that this is a shonen series and that they are able to do things more likely that is unfeasible in a fictional world that would most likely not fly in our real world. With Skeptic, even though he's a hacker, what I think is going to happen, and this is something that I've seen around the community, is that Skeptic may be the way that we reintroduce Gentle Criminal into the fold, and that potentially what's going to be happening is that we're going to have La Brava fighting off the hacking and eventually give the heroes an advantage because she has been apparently able to do things that pretty much no other hacker could potentially do. She was confident in her ability to hack UA, which is something that we see Skeptic is able to do. And I'm fairly certain that Skeptic has only failed twice in his life, Once was when he was unable to acquire twice during the first war against the Paranormal Liberation Army versus the villains. And we don't know what led to his first failure, but it could be involving La Brava, who is also a hacker. So this was a fun way to bring her and Gentle Criminal back into the fold and give a better understanding and thematics for villains who can be saved and come back to the side of good through the examples of La Brava and Gentle Criminal. So most likely she's going to be playing a role in preventing Skeptic from doing any more damage than he already has. But I think the damage that Skeptic has done will stick. I do believe that something will be happening with civilians because of All For One spies, but we need to also remember that even though these civilians are here, that there are also potentially heroes here as well that quit. And that this could be a spur to the moment for these heroes to come back into the fold. Specifically, I'm thinking of Death Arms coming back into the story, and he's like, you know what, I gave up, but not anymore. I am a true hero. And that he comes back into the fold and begins fighting on the side of the civilians and saying, I'm sorry that I didn't do my job, but now I will, because that's what a hero does. Or that the civilians will begin to take charge and actually begin to fight back, which once again would tie into some of the heroes being civilians and fighting back against the villains that may be invading this area where the civilians are. So yeah, this is a very cool chapter. Also, I didn't bring up that we saw the little kids that supported both Bakugo and Shoto. They're here, they believe in them, so that's cool. But yeah, that's pretty much all I really have to say about this chapter for now. Yeah, this was an amazing chapter. Really enjoyed the action, very much enjoyed how the villains are beginning to take charge, and just getting to see the final reveal of All For One's face, and the fact that maybe Dad for One is dead, but Daddy for One is still much alive. So there's so much that we can talk about in this chapter, and I will talk about it in more length in a different video. Just wait there. But this is all I really have to say. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you enjoyed this chapter, and leave your thoughts down below on what you think of this chapter. Do you think that the heroes have a chance of coming back from the situation? Leave your thoughts down below. Leave a like on the video if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content like this. Do all that cool jazz, and hopefully I'll be able to catch you in my next video. Goodbye!